Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Giusi and I'm an intuitive healer, and I talk about a lot of healing topics, and I kind of incorporate my own experiences with the topics of conversation. Topics have to do with narcissistic abuse recovery, codependency, changing our programming and hypnotherapy, spiritual awakening, dark night of the soul, as well as my autistic experience. So welcome if you're new here, and if you're not, then thanks for supporting the channel and for continuing to show up. So as you can see, I am in my new place. I am recording a video even though everything is not set up here. I finally got my laptop set up yesterday, and my desk, I might do a video of giving you a tour of the place once everything's done, but we still have everything in boxes. Massimo's here beside me, and these beautiful French doors behind me. We used the larger room to make it into a dining room and office area because it was much larger and it just seemed a better function of the room than using this. This was considered the main bedroom, and I was just like, I'd rather eat the table is there in front of the table. The window, I'd rather eat my breakfast and lunch by the window and watch outside. We do have a terrace out there where we sit and have tea and just like look out to our large backyard, and it's very beautiful. So welcome. I don't have everything set up still. My actual camera is still in boxes. My Yeti mic is here, but I don't have the cord for it, so I hope you can hear me okay. I was at work and came home and was making stuff, and I baked some brownies, and I'm just waiting for them to cool and for my partner to come home. So today's topic is actually something that it's going to be like sort of a part 2 of my most viewed video. I have a video right now that has over 4,600 views, and it is how autistic people are often targeted by mean people, and this seems to be a very popular topic, and unfortunately a very shared experience for us. And so today's video topic is how I went through life not realizing people were being mean to me and using me, autism edition. So unfortunately, and I know I've spoken about this in some of my other videos, but I wanted to kind of speak just specifically about this phenomena, like my whole life, how I wasn't aware that people were using me. My earliest experiences with this were in elementary school. I'm not sure what it's called. I think some people call it primary school. Elementary school for us is from grade 1 to 8, and although some people it's from grade 1 to 6 depending on where you live, but I went to Catholic school and it was from grade 1 to 8 is elementary school. So sorry, junior kindergarten, senior kindergarten, grade 1 to grade 8, all of that is considered elementary school or primary. And then secondary school is high school, which is from grade 9 to 12. It used to be OAC for us back in the day. I'm dating myself, but now it's only from grade 9 to 12. Also, again, a Catholic school I went to. So my first experience with people who were I guess not knowing that they were using me or being mean to was elementary school. And I honestly can say that, like, I don't, it wasn't something that I was aware of at the time. It's definitely something that I know now, when I look back, and obviously with awareness and a recognition of things. But there are two things that come into play here. Number one was that I was very quiet, and I would say I had a form of selective mutism because I didn't talk and I was very shy. And if you knew me now, like if you talk to me now and how much I won't shut up, you you would be like, what? No, I was very shy. I did not talk. And so it was like I would only talk to people if we were one-on-one, and if it was like at a home experience. At school I didn't talk unless like I was answering an answer for teachers sometimes, and even then it was like really uncomfortable. So two things were happening here. Number one, there was this girl who lived across the street from me, and she would hang out with me, and tell me to come over. And she'd never come to my house, but she would tell me to come over, I guess, and hang out with her. And she would have company, like, so she can have company. And we'd hang out in her bedroom and whatever. And anytime she wanted to do something, she would always call me, and I'd always be available because I didn't have friends, and not because I didn't nobody like me, but because I never really tried to make friends because I didn't really care to be around people. I just kind of like, I just liked to be on my own. And even with my siblings, I have three siblings. Even when we would play and stuff like that, a lot of times I would like to play by myself. When they were outside playing, when I was very young, I liked to be by myself inside, playing by myself, very quiet with my dolls and Barbies, or coloring books or doing things always on my own. And so this one girl, because she was like a neighbor, I was comfortable with her, and because I knew her, like growing up with her. And so when she would ask me to come over, I would. But here's the thing, she didn't really hang out with me or talk to me when we were at school. She wouldn't hang out with me, but she would always call on me to hang out with her when I was at home. So that's one of my first or my earliest experiences of having friends use me for my friendship, to just be there for them, like a space filler, I guess you can say. Someone who was just constantly like there, and who was also, I had the ability to really like, boost people up and speak kindly of them, because that's just the kind of person I was. And that is like my earliest experience with that. And that continued throughout my whole life with my friends. And I think I don't have any friends like that anymore. I think the last person that I had like that was sort of a friend like that was, we stopped talking years ago. And I just, that's just something that I found that was very common in my life, was that and I talk about it in the video where I talk about I'm the sidekick friend. So that's one experience of like being used. And it's not to say that they don't, they didn't like me or anything like that, but it's interesting how oftentimes these people would prioritize other people over you when it came to functions or events and things like that, or spending time, or if there's something more important or better happening, then you would get like shafted. Like, you would be the one who would be left out immediately because you were just the person they were using when they had nobody else. So unfortunately, this is an experience that I'm very familiar with for like a lot of my life. I know it feels a little weird to think that or to understand that, because it wasn't something that I really like saw or understood until now. And it's unfortunate, because I've always been like really genuine with people, and I genuinely cared about those people and thought they were like, my friends, and always wanted to like build them up, and and I know that they like used to settle for less and things in life, and I would try to like pump them up and all this stuff. And I find that that pattern was also very, apparent in my relationships, in terms of like me dating these people who weren't good for me or using me, and I would always be doing nice things to them, or saying nice things and pumping them up, but they would never do the same for me. So that's one experience. The second one is people who would use you. Now, I obviously was not someone who wasn't familiar with this behavior, unfortunately, because I was like a nerd. When I wouldn't say nerd, that's not the right word. The term we used to use was brainer. I was like a gifted child, and honor roll student, and all that stuff in school, straight A's, and just like the top student, and I was like above my grade. And so a lot of people used to copy my homework, and because I didn't like understand the concept of boundaries or saying no and things like that, I often would let them, copy my homework and stuff. And even on tests and stuff, sometimes people would ask me, and I wouldn't know how to say no, and I just wouldn't. And even though there were times, obviously, that I would feel that like weird feeling in my gut and stuff. So this would happen to me a lot in life, and then it would be always for different things, not for my homework. It would be for other things. Like one time I got suspended This is a nice story. Uh, because I was so smart and clever and witty and things like that, I remember in grade seven, I think it was. It was either grade seven or eight, but I think it was grade seven. There were these girls that were teasing this one boy and stuff, and they were all like, getting trying to like come up with things to say to him. And so I came up with a good one, and they're like, "Oh yeah, write it down for me." So I did, and they gave it to him, and the teacher found the note, and she was like, "Who wrote this?" And at first she like ripped up the note, and then she took it out of the garbage and had to take it to the principal. And it was obviously I'm the one whose head was put on the chopping block, not the girls who were kind of eliciting that type of like, response or behavior or whatever. And me, I was a quiet, shy, book smart girl who was doing my own thing and always excelling and doing well in class. And I never ever got in trouble and things like that. And so I got sent to the principal's office, and I got instead of getting so instead of getting suspended, what they did was ban me from the end of year school trip. And I was so upset, and I went home and cried so much. I cried, and my parents did nothing because, I growing up with parents who didn't support me and who also didn't speak English and, were not from here. So for them, there was like a language barrier. And so I didn't have parents who championed me and things like that. And it wasn't like, yes, I wrote the note, but under the circumstances, if you are an educator and you see like the situation and what's occurring, you would have handled that so much differently. And none of those other people got in trouble, but I did. I was the one who got in trouble. I was the only one who got in trouble. And I got, instead of suspending me, they made me not go to the trip. So thanks a lot, Miss Torty. That was very swell of you to do that. So yeah, so I was very upset about that, but that's an example of how we end up being like the scapegoat and people use us for various things, and then we're the ones who get like screwed in the end. And this went on to happen in several different ways my whole life. And so as I grew up and got older, you say to yourself, how do you not know that these people are being mean to you or taking advantage of you or things like that, or using you, etc. And there's multiple reasons for this. One of the first ones is that because I'm an honest and genuine person, and our inability to really tell like people's to understand people's cues and things like that, when people act friendly back to us, we kind of take it at face value, and we have delayed processing with many things, so we don't immediately know that someone is a douche and that they're using us and stuff. And so you're nice to people and someone comes and is like super nice to you and stuff, then you kind of think that they're being nice to you and that they're genuine, because why wouldn't they be? I'm being nice and genuine, and it would be weird. Like, what reason do you have to be not nice to me and like to fake being nice to me, etc.? Like, so that's one of them. And then another one is that I think that sometimes it's hard for me to wrap my head around people being not nice. And I know that sounds like weird and naive, but and I say this to my boyfriend all the time. I go, I don't know if it's an autistic thing or just a me and him thing, or us, whatever. But there's a certain purity about our essence and who we are, and what type of people we are. And so I don't immediately think that someone is not nice and that they're going to be mean or that they have an ulterior motive and things like that. And so I see the good in people. I see the good in everyone. And so, when you see the good in everyone, it becomes this kind of thing where, like, even though there might be some little hints or nuances of, like, not so, like, great behavior, or they have a history and things like that, you kind of take everyone with this, like, approach of, like, they have the possibility. Like you can see, like the way I like to refer to it is that I can see their soul essence. And even though they're not really showing up as that, who that person is, I have the ability to see their soul essence. And so when I see that, I see their potential of who they can be and that they are deep down a good person. And so I take it as that. And so I don't immediately think that this person's going to harm me and things like that. And then add on to that the fact that I was raised in, like, in environments where it's normal to accept abusive behavior and walk on eggshells and all these other things that come into play. And so when you put all those together, when people are not being nice to you, you A, don't always recognize it, B, you kind of don't believe it, or C, you're programmed to accept it and tolerate it. And so there are so many things that are occurring here, unfortunately. And so you, by the time you're like neck deep in like really shitty behavior from people, it feels too uncomfortable and difficult to leave that situation. So we've kind of went too far into it, and it's, give me a second. My partner is on his way home and he said he was going to let me know. And the reason that I want to know is because I baked brownies and I want to ice them before he comes. So that's why. Okay. So he's a big sweet tooth. So I'm not so much like into that, but I kind of had a craving for something sweet. And when I went grocery shopping, there was a sale on something. So I just picked up some stuff and I made brownies. So anyways, yeah, so there's all those things occurring. And so we don't necessarily notice or identify that behavior, and then after, when we're in it, it becomes difficult to kind of detach from that, remove ourselves from that because of various other reasons. So yes, how did I not know that people are being mean to me or using me? I really didn't know. I didn't recognize it. I processed that much later, or I saw the good in them over who they really were, and plus I've been programmed to accept and tolerate and that, all that kind of stuff. So those are the reasons that myself and many other people probably get into these situations without even knowing. And unfortunately, it's led me to become really, I wouldn't say like removed, but it's, had to learn discernment and how to place boundaries and keep people at bay, unfortunately, because just because I needed a buffer. So now when I meet people, I need that buffer. I need time for them to prove to me that they are not bad people and that they're not going to harm me and stuff like that. So I never let anyone in to that space immediately. So now there's that buffer, and I usually keep away from most people because I don't have the energy or time to deal with any of that. So no, I have really great, amazing friends now, and an absolutely incredible partner. He is honestly the best thing ever. And so I'm in a good space for myself. And so I can allow myself to create that buffer. And, in the event that I didn't have those things, then I would probably continue to make friendships online as I was before. Because people can be very deceitful and stuff like that. And when you're someone who can't tell those things right away and have delayed processing and various other things, then it can become a very big minefield for you when you try to navigate making friendships. So this was my story about why I did not know that people were being mean to me or using me my whole life. I'm curious if this is your experience as well, or if you have a different experience, and maybe some tips that you have done to stop this. Like I said, one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself is give yourself a buffer. Don't, when someone introduces themselves to you, don't assume that that's who they are. Let them prove to you who they are. Let them show you over time by repeated behaviors, by being consistent with who they are. Those are things that are very, very important. And it's very difficult because sometimes we get like so big with our emotions, and oftentimes when you meet someone new and you have things in common with them, that person can sometimes become your special interest, or the things that you do with that person can be your special interest. So these are things to keep in mind when you're trying to make new friendships. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there. I just needed to pop up a video because I haven't in 2 weeks and I'm into my new place now. I've been here for like 12, what day is today? The 11th? August 11th? Yeah. So I've been here for 11 days now. I, even though we got the place July 1st, I didn't officially fully move into here until August 1st. So I'm here now. The move went horribly. That'll be a video for another time. I'll explain that later about the movers and everything. Oh God, and plus not to mention how stressful that was. It's stressful for anyone and stressful, way more stressful for someone who's autistic. And I was also very sick, so that did not help. But anyways, welcome. Oops, sorry. Welcome to all the people who are new, and you know, that's it. Thanks for supporting me. I appreciate all of you so much. My 3-year anniversary promo that usually occurs in August is going to be postponed until September, as is my Calm Collective, unfortunately, because things have taken a lot longer than I wanted to in my new place and settling in here. And after multiple meltdowns and difficulties in recovering from being sick, I just thought it would be best to delay that and postpone that for just another month, just for myself. And that's important. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Stay tuned for all the new updates. And that's it. Please like and subscribe to support my channel. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye.